Culture Compass. I'm at Relentless Live with Zane Lowe.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Good.
Good to see you.
You too. I want to talk about Radke, who are on the lineup today. They've spoken about how they want to bring cool, real rock back and like anti-Nickelback, basically. Are you on the same page as them?
Oh, poor old Nickelback, man. Chad Kroger's still getting it.
Take a bashing.
Still take a bashing. Yes, is the short answer to that question. You know, I'm a big fan of Radke. I love their enthusiasm and energy, but I love their songs more than anything. I think that they are really one of those kind of edgy and very direct sounding bands that can only come from that kind of rock and roll form, you know, that chemistry that comes from people in a room playing off each other, and it's very fractious, you know, it's like everything's just vibing off one another. So, I mean, I love that, and I've missed it en masse, and I think bands like Radke and Circa Waves and Royal Blood and Lonely the Brave, and they're all in their own way, all four very different sounding bands, but they're giving us a front row, you know, to look at in terms of rock and roll right now, which is really great. And it's been missed, you know, but it had to go, you know, things move in cycles and have to regenerate, and Radke are part of that regeneration, you know.
Do you have any place in your heart for the Nickelback types, you know, that production, the slickness, the formulaic, the commercial stuff? Do you?
Yeah, I love well-produced records. There's no question. I don't like Nickelback, but that's not necessarily, it's not personal, you know, the music is not really to my taste, but yeah, I mean, I do. Smashing Pumpkins are one of my favorite bands of all time, and they're hardly an underground, independent-sounding rock and roll band. You know, I'd say Siamese Dream is one of the most well-produced records of all time. So, I mean, I love records that are brilliantly produced, creatively produced. I love the idea that a song and then how you sort of dress the song or you make the song look or feel, they have to be complementary to one another. And sometimes that can mean it sounds like it's been made in outer space, and other times it needs to sound like it's been made in a garage. But you can overcook it, and there are examples of that, as mentioned.
I want to talk about the fact that you become friends with a lot of the acts that you interview time after time. When they come to you with a new project, and maybe you're not feeling it that much, how do you broach and deal with that?
Good question. Well, you know, professionally, music first. That's why we're there. We're there to find the best songs and play them on the radio. That's the job we have. Yeah. And it's a good one. So we're very proud of it and we protect it. If they're real friends, then you just have an honest conversation and just say it's not really for now. But you never close the door on any artist, you know. Well, we don't anyway. You know, I mean, we treat it on a song-by-song basis, a project-by-project basis, an album-by-album basis, whatever. You know, we really tried to simplify the whole thing down, whether it was doing Gonzo or when I used to do that, or Radio 1, or even when I'm doing my DJ stuff. I'm just trying to focus on each show, on each gig, on each TV show, on each radio show, and make it the best I can. So, you know, we don't look too far in advance. We go, you know, what is the best 2 hours, the best 90 minutes, the best 60 minutes that we can put together? Yeah. And friendship or no friendships, you know, that is the bottom line.
So if one of your friends' bands had an album that wasn't altogether good, but you'd try hard to find one little tidbit within their little song that you could say, but this is great. Yeah.
Don't know. I mean, no, I mean, again, you know, you really, I wouldn't want to have to work too hard. If I have to work that hard, it ain't happening. Yeah. But, I mean, to be honest with you, just to put it in perspective, the people that I'm friends with, that I've grown to become friends with out of my job, are people that I would be friends with whether I was working, you know, doing dishes like I used to do, or, you know, a dentist, and they were, I don't know, a chef. It wouldn't matter. It comes down to whether or not you like somebody as a person. And we met through music, so we have a common interest in that. And you know, most of the people I've met in my life I've met through music. But we don't always have to agree, and we don't always have to agree about their music.
Sometimes it's more interesting when you don't.
Absolutely, absolutely. Look, I mean, you can't go like that. From your perspective, yeah, the opposite. You can't go like that forever. And I think, you know, you go like that to go even higher.
Get out the way, bitch! Get out the way! Move, bitch! Get out the way! Get out the way, bitch! Get out the way!
A lot of alternative bands, you might think they're all about rock, but a lot of them are saying they want to bring back the Top of the Pops and these programs that kind of displayed the vast array of music we have. What would you bring back, or what would you create?
I wouldn't bring anything back. No. Push forward. I don't think you can look back and try and recreate the glory times of something that existed from a generation past and update it. The generation who are that age now aren't thinking, I want Top of the Pops. They've got YouTube.
That's the thing.
That's their thing, and that's happening now. And there's no point in going, oh God. And I mean, I did. We all spent times during the transition where it was like, God, all we need is that one TV show or that one moment that's going to just kickstart it again. But pretty soon, at least me and my friends all realized that that's just pointless, and we gave up that ghost, because that's all it is it's a ghost. All you can do is you can focus on something new and exciting and fresh and be part of the future, be part of the now. Don't try and do that by thinking of something old. That just means you're fresh out of ideas. And if you're fresh out of ideas, you need to go get inspired, you know. And so I wouldn't bother going back. I just wouldn't. And I think the Top of the Pops and The Word and all these shows everyone talks about, and even Gonzo, you know, to a sort of much lesser extent for people who liked it, had its place. But it's had its place.
What would you do then in the future, say, if you could create your own format?
We're doing
it now.
We're doing it. I mean, you know, we're putting interviews up on YouTube and long-form 60-minute interviews that are getting millions of views in a culture that everyone says is bite-sized. Yeah. You know, we're trying to change things on the new platform, on the new world, and say you don't have to watch, you know, it's great watching, you know, cats chasing string, but it doesn't all have to be that. Yeah. You know, we can interview Jay-Z, or someone can interview, you know, Elliot Wilson can interview somebody on, you know, Life and Times, and people will watch it, you know, and I want to be with those people. I want to be hanging out with those people who think like that. Yeah. You know, it's all happening now, and I think that we all get too preoccupied with trying to think like, how are we going to make it better in the future? Well, you do that by making it happen right now. Okay. You know what I mean?
So you don't feel frustrated in any way. You're just doing what you want to do, and it's.
Oh, at times for sure. At times you wish it would happen faster. At times you wish that you have a crazy idea and it doesn't come off. But it's for a reason, you know. But that frustration is an energy too, and it's all about kind of making the most of that as well.
Where did you go? Move, bitch! Get out the way! Get out the way, bitch! Get out the way!
I was targeted with the question about, is rock coming back? Is UK rock succeeding? With Death Havana getting a top 10 album, etc., do you feel like finally maybe we are in that place?
You know, again, it's a tough one, because you spend so much time predicting things that eventually, if you just keep predicting it, you're going to be right. Yeah. So if you just keep saying every year, this is the year of rock, eventually it's going to be the year of rock, and everyone's going to go, wow, you really called that. And you're going to be like, I called it every year for 10 years. You know, so you got to kind of like not, again, what you got to do is look at the artists that are there, look at their journey. They don't necessarily want to be part of the spearheading of any scene or movement. They're just trying to make music that moves them. Generally what happens is one artist will inspire somebody who will inspire their friends, and their friends will wear the t-shirt, and then it is literally that they'll tell three friends, and they'll tell three friends, but on a massive scale. That's how music like that tends to find its audience again. There isn't the manufacturing that goes into it. There isn't the global platform like a talent show to launch that stuff. There isn't the mainstream media. So that stuff genuinely comes from the underground, whether it's dubstep or UK bass that came from the pirate radio stations, or deep house, which has been bubbling for 10 years. People talk about Duke Dumont having a #1 single. Duke Dumont has been making records for a long time, and he's been really investing in that world, in that music for a long time. No overnight successes in that world at all, you know, and certainly from those kind of artists. And so, you know, you trust that those artists are going to stick to their guns, make the music they want to make, and eventually there will be a tipping point. Yeah, I mean, when I hear Lonely the Brave, I do hear an alternative. I do hear a band that will inspire these people that are currently inspired by music that isn't necessarily as deep as that. Yeah. That's okay. That's a point in your life where you want to just kind of roll with your friends and have fun and do, you know, fun things. And eventually, as you start to learn, you know, you have different emotions and life takes over, and you know you need music. Some people need music that's going to soundtrack that, and that's when you start wearing T-shirts and you start really investing in your bands, and they become a statement of your independence and your individuality. And I hear bands like Lonely the Brave will speak to certain people about that. Whether they are the band, I don't know. I mean,
there's a lot of good buzz about them.
There's a good buzz about them, but then Royal Blood are phenomenal. I mean, you know, bands do, it does happen. And but the return of rock, I think, it's going to happen when we all stop calling for it. It's just sod's
Stop
law.
asking these questions.
You know, but we all do. We all do it. You know, and as soon as we all stop predicting it or wondering when it's going to happen, that's when some band's going to kick the door down.
Let's hope so. Just to wrap up, some artists you interview say they're doing their work for the greater good of the world, you know, to help.
Who says that?
I don't know. But do you think on the whole, most of them are doing it for themselves, for audiences, or for, like I said, the greater good
I don't know.
on the whole?
It's, I wouldn't want to put a number on that. I think it's probably, I'd like to think it's, you know, all of the above.
Yeah.
You start making music because you want to, or you have to, and then it's the process of making it that is the true joy of it. And then if you find a way to tap into what is real to you in the music that you're making, speaking on behalf of the people that make the music, or when I make music or whatever, then hopefully it will translate and people will identify with that. I think, you know, you want to write music or make music because you get the ultimate enjoyment out of it. That's the process. But of course you hope that it will have a universal connection with people and they'll be able to identify and take something from it, because that's the great sharing of art, of music, of film, of painting, of anything. The sharing, the interaction. You know, I do know musicians who would continue to do it without it, definitely. But I know that they're always grateful when it does find its home.
What will you deliver today at Relentless Live? Sell it.
Well, you know, for a start, we've just come off the back of a UK tour, 16 dates in like 21 days. So
Relentless.
Well, yeah, it was, and thanks to Relentless for getting involved. But you know, we are sharp, so hopefully that will come across.
Okay.
Yeah,
You sold it to me.
I'm excited.
See you there.
Nice one.
Thank you.